everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And today we're going to take a look at the Marvel Infinite Series 3 1/4 inch or 4-inch scale Marvel's Valkyrie figure. Now, if you've been following our New York Comic Con coverage this past weekend, you'll recall that we are getting. It was announced that we're getting a 6-inch version of the Valkyrie in the Marvel Legends Avengers series in early 2015, and that got me to thinking. And it occurred to me that we never actually ended up doing a review of the 3 1/4 inch Valkyrie figure for the Infinite Series line. So I figured we'd go in and throw up a quick review of that figure. So the figure comes in that standardized Marvel Infinite Series packaging, where you've got the Marvel Infinite Series logo up at the top, and then you've got some Avengers icons underneath that, and then the figure's clearly displayed in the packaging. And then underneath that we have the character's name. And you'll notice we have Marvel's Valkyrie, I guess because of copyright reasons or whatever, they had to add that Marvel's to the actual name of the figure. Then on the back, we have the little brief bio of the character, an image of the figure, and then below that we have a look at other figures in this wave of Marvel Infinite Series. Deathlock, Ares, Ant-Man, a repaint of the Cyclops, and a re-release from the Marvel Universe line of Omega Red. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. And for the most part, this is an okay figure. The head sculpt is pretty decent. My only complaint with it is I think they kind of overdid it on the red lipstick. I don't know, I just don't think a god like that's going to be wearing all that red of lipstick. So that looks a little off to me. But otherwise, I think the head sculpt's pretty good. The hair sculpt is pretty nice. She's got the long pigtails, one on the front and then one on the back. And she's got the leather hair braids, and there's some nice shading on the hair too for the most part, so I think they've done a good job there. The armor plating on her breasts and front section are painted on with this figure. Now, I will note, if you recall the 6-inch version that we saw at New York Comic Con, which I've thrown in a picture here of it to give you kind of a comparison, you'll see the head sculpts are pretty similar. A little bit different hairstyle, but for the most part they look kind of similar to me. But you will notice, like, the armor plating on her breasts and such are sculpted on the 6-inch version as opposed to on this 3 1/4 inch version. They're just painted on. And otherwise the figure's basically just in black with skin tones. She's got the armor wristbands painted on her wrists, and then the black wristbands around her forearms, but not like really any kind of wash or anything. Now, also one thing I want to note is this figure suffers from unpainted joints at the feet. You can see the white unpainted joints on the back of both feet, so it's not that big a deal, especially since it's on the back, but it is a little bit sloppy there. The other thing with this figure is it definitely suffers from that, what I call soft rubber syndrome, that many of the 3 1/4 inch figures these days from Hasbro seems to suffer from. I mean, it's not too much of a problem, but definitely it's got very soft joints in the knees and even the arms a little bit. The figure comes with one accessory, and it's her sword, and basically the blade is a silver color, and then the hilt is like gold, and it looks like they've sculpted like a little dragon head on the top, which looks pretty good for the small scale of figure. Not a lot of detail in the head, but again, for this size of figure and everything, the detail's pretty good. The sword itself is definitely, again, very soft, bends very easily, like with most of the accessories, again, that you find with the 3 1/4 inch line. The figure stands at around 4 1/4 inches tall, so she's a bit on the tall side. Here she is next to the Marvel Universe Enchantress figure, and you'll see that she's definitely taller than Enchantress. And then here she is next to the Black Widow, and again you'll see that she's definitely taller than Black Widow, which sounds about right. I would think Valkyrie would definitely be taller than the Widow. Articulation on this figure is pretty standard with what you would expect from a 3 1/4 inch Marvel Universe / Marvel Infinite Series figure. Her head is on a ball hinge joint, though with the way the hair is sculpted and everything, she can't look up very much. That's about as much as she can look up. She can look down some, and then she can turn her head left and right. And because it's just pigtails, the hair doesn't really prevent her from turning her head left or right. Arms are attached with a standard ball hinge joint, so she's got good rotation there at the shoulder. She does also have a bicep swivel, and she has double jointed elbows, so she can bend her elbow good. Wrists are just swivel, no hinges at the wrist. Both hands are sculpted in a way that can grip her sword in either hand, and she can even somewhat do a two-handed pose with the sword. She's got a midsection joint underneath her breasts, so she's got some pivot, down and back movement there, plus a swivel. No swivel at the waist, though. She has this belt that's not removable, but it is loosely attached to the figure. Her legs are on a ball joint, but she can't, the way they're sculpted, she cannot do the splits. That's about as far apart as you can get the legs. She can do the legs forward and then kind of out and back. She does have a thigh swivel, and she does have double jointed knees. She has a swivel at the boot cuff, and then she does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of her feet. So that's my review. Overall, I think this figure's okay. Especially if you're a fan of the Valkyrie character, then you'll probably want to pick this one up. If not, then this might be a pass for you. That's assuming you can find it. I still haven't seen anything past Wave 1 for the Infinite series at mass retail, so if you do want to pick this one up, you're probably going to have to order it online at some place like Big Bad Toy Store. But the figure is out there if you want to add her to your collection if you haven't already. And like I said, the figure's okay. The unpainted joints and a little bit too much lipstick, but otherwise, I think it's a decent figure. So that's my review. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the figure. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll check you later.